Hello and welcome to a Homespun house. My name is Molly and I have just made fresh cookies. My favorite vegan recipe. I love them more than any cookie I have ever tried. That's a vegan cookie recipe. And how cute is this cow mug? Cows are my favorite animal and my parents bought me this for Christmas this year. Also, I know that this episode just started, but I am so distracted by the weather outside. We are getting a large snowstorm this evening, today and this evening, and it's supposed to go in through the morning tomorrow, and we are supposed to get 14 inches of snow. I really can't wait. I am very excited about that. Probably because we have nowhere to go. My nephew Silas, who is almost 15 years old, well, he's 14, he'll be 15 in the summer, is coming to stay with us until Sunday. We try to do that every now and again. Whenever he wants to come over, we invite him as often as possible, kind of alternating it with my grandma Sue. And he will be here this evening, where we will have so much fun playing games. We can go ice skating right across the street from us, and we have plans to maybe go swimming for a little while. Weather permitting, of course. We might have to wait until Sunday when the roads are a little bit more manageable. But I'm really looking forward to having him here. We get along really well with our neighbors, so we often do game nights with them, and we play a lot of really fun strategic board games. One of our favorites, not a board game, is called Werewolf, and there are two different werewolf games. We like both of them, depending upon how many people you have to play, and I can't wait. It's so much fun to have Silas, my nephew, over and just to have a fun weekend with him. My grandma Sue is one who I have talked about so much. You'll learn a bit about her if you watch the beginning of the Homespun House episodes, because she really is what influenced a Homespun House. And we've just found out recently that her husband, my grandpa, is quite terminal in his cancer. And so I've been trying to stop by at their home. He is at home now with hospice, and I've been just enjoying being there, spending time, keeping them company, making them delicious, healthy, warm, which I think is so important, foods. And it's just been such a pleasure being there and spending time around them. But it's also a really hard time, of course, too. My grandpa is such an amazing, wonderful, cheerful, funny person to be around. He thinks he's funny too. He laughs at his own jokes often, which makes it even cuter. Anyway, so I've been spending a fair bit of my work days there, and I'm not sure how it will be this weekend now that the snow is rolling in. We'll have to wait and see. While I was there, I took along a project that I could just sit and be with them. My grandma and grandpa have had a lot of visitors coming and going, which is nice and enjoyable and supportive, but my grandma is very much an introvert, and she has been missing time by herself. I feel like she's not overwhelmed by me. I feel like we are two people who, when we're together, we don't have to talk at all. There are often, times when my grandma Sue come and visits, and she naps or she reads and I knit, and we don't talk. We just, are together. And we have lots of times where we talk too, but we're very, very comfortable. If somebody said you can't talk for 2 days, we could definitely openly accept that and just feel amazing being around each other. So anyway, when I knew that I was going to their house on Thursday, I decided to take along a knitting project so that we could just kind of sit together and be. That isn't necessarily what happened. My grandpa was very, very talkative, but I just sat and happily knit and listened to him talk and talked back with him. And so I took along a new colorway to a homespun house, and this is our Hawking colorway. I don't have a full skein with me currently, but I can show you the cake. It's many different shades of purple and then with flashes of color. I really, really love the way that it's knitting up. It's not knitting up micro striped, which is how I thought it maybe would knit up. It isn't necessarily pooling yet, but I'm really happy with the way that it's turning out. It's knitting up really fun. I am knitting these on size 0 American needles and size 2 millimeter needles. I cast on 64 stitches, knit 2, purl 2, just until I thought that the cuff looked good. And then now I'm currently working on the leg, and I wanted something stockinette stitch. I know I mentioned last episode that the blueberry waffle is my favorite pattern for texture at the moment. Just the way that it looks. I think it looks so versatile. It makes any speckled yarn look really, really nice. So I'm knitting these in stockinette stitch. I think I might cast on another pair of blueberry waffle socks just for fun. I've had a lot of questions about the blueberry waffle sock, and people have been asking which pattern I've used, because supposedly there are quite a bit of blueberry waffle sock patterns, which I was not aware of. The one that I am knitting is actually a DK weight sock. This is not DK weight. It's super simple. It's a free pattern. You knit 2 rounds, and then you knit 2, purl 2 for 2 rounds, and then you knit 2 rounds, knit 2, purl 2. So your sock only needs to be divisible by 4 stitches. You can do any number of stitches on your sock just as long as it's divisible by 4 stitches, so that you can do that knit 2, purl 2 every 3 and 4th round if you're doing a 4-row sequence. So that is the pattern that I am using for this sock. I would say I'm using it more as a recipe, so it's so pretty. I'm very, very happy with this colorway. So that colorway is currently in the shop on quite a multitude of bases. So that's the only sock that I've been working on. 2 new projects that have come on my needles and off my needles came from some mini skein sets that I currently have up in the shop. This was such a fun and gratifying set to dye, because as I mentioned last episode, I really, really want to knit and sew and create all of December's Advent gifts for my children ahead of time, so that I'm not scrambling and I feel wonderful about what I'm giving them, and they are done far enough ahead of time. Ruby loves pink, blue, and purple. Pink is the main color that she loves. Elodie loves blue, pink, and purple, blue being the main color that she loves. So they both love the same color palette. They both have different dominant colors that they love. So I dyed up 2 sets of 5 mini skeins. They are 20-gram mini skeins, and there are 5 skeins of yarn per set. The first set that I dyed up was based off of Ruby's favorite colors. I dyed up this set in fingering weight and DK weight. DK weight is quite low on both of these sets. I think they would be so great to make socks out of, hats out of, anything you want. You could choose a main color you know, even for a shawl like this, and then add these colors to it. So I tried to create these as something that could somewhat fade from beginning to end. That was kind of the color palette that I had in mind. And based upon whose favorite colorway is which, I'm sure you can imagine who this is from. I chose the 20-gram set for my youngest, Ruby, whose favorite color is pink, for her cowl. And I just made up my own pattern for this cowl. I'm very happy with it. I ended up doing some decreases for the neck, just so it's a little bit more snug. I do not like cowls that hang open. I don't like that at all. For me personally, that completely defeats the purpose. So I love it. I'm very, very happy with how this turned out. And I think that she'll like it too. So it will be the first year that they are getting to completely different. It's the same exact cowl, but they're both different colors. So this is the Pixie set. You'll find it under kits at homespunhouse.com. And this is the one that is a little bit more pink. And you don't have to use these as a fade at all. If you move them around, they look quite distinct. So here's the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth color. They don't have names. They're one of a kind. Once the mini skein set is sold out, I will not be dyeing it again. There's no way I would even know how to do that. So the next set that I knit up was the Majestic mini skein set. The same goes for that. There is fingering weight and DK weight. Like I mentioned, there is less of the DK weight. So I knit the same exact shawl that I knit for my 3-year-old as I knit for my 7-year-old. This one has blue as more of a dominant color. And it's so pretty. Again, these colors, I wish I had brought up a set with me, because then you can see, if you don't want to knit them as a fade, how different they actually are. But they're so pretty. So this is the Majestic set. And this is also in DK weight. It was such a fun knit to make. I think I probably made this somewhere between 3 to 4 hours. I was really, really enjoying making these. I made both of these cowls in a 3-day period. So I definitely was not sitting and knitting the entire time. I cannot take the time to do that. I worked, I was at my grandparents' house, and then in the evenings when Robert played soccer, I spent one evening pretty much knitting from start to finish Ruby's, I think, while he was at soccer. And then this one, I kind of needed a restful day yesterday in between working, going to my grandparents' house. I never, ever do that. I love working so much. I get so much joy out of dyeing and putting kits together for you guys that it's just not something that I do. So I must have really, really needed that yesterday. And I actually gave myself the time to sit and knit, which, as I said, is very rare for me. So I don't regret a moment of it. It was fantastic. So this is the Majestic set. The final thing that I've been knitting on, I feel like for me, this is a lot of progress in 1 week, because it's been a week, you guys. It has been 1 week since I last put up an episode. The last thing that I've been working on, a tish, as my grandma Sue would say. I don't know anybody else who says a tish other than she does, is my no frills pullover. So I'm knitting this out of our Nurture colorway, which is currently all sold out in the shop. The only way that you can get our Nurture colorway currently is if you order a sweater quantity, and sweater quantities are available in the shop. As I mentioned last week, you can choose any colorway you want on any of the bases listed, and just, you know, read the regulations and I will dye that up for you. So I'm using Nurture, and then I'm using Fresh Sheets in our merino mohair. It's a DK weight yarn actually. It's not the standard lace weight like the merino silk that we have in our shop. Here's a little sample of that I have left over from, that was from my Plume tea shawl by Melody Hoffman of Bee Mandarins. So I'm enjoying knitting on this. I'm just knitting and I'm still doing the raglan increases. I think I'll be done if I sit and work on this for about another hour, but it's so fluffy, it's so beautiful. It's that favorite shade of pink that I wear all the time. When I was at my grandma's house, she happened to have a pair of pink house shoes in that color, and I was very excited to put those on and wear them. I'm going to show you some things that I've pulled from the shop now that I think would make beautiful kits. I shared this with a designer who we were trying to put a shawl kit together, and this is not one that we chose, but I do think that this is gorgeous. So starting at this one, we have Lincoln. The center is If You're a Bird, I'm a Bird, and this one right here is called Starry Night. These look so lovely together. And then here we have, I'll start again with this one, Silver. The center one is Dementor's Kiss. And then this one right here is called Hopscotch. All of these and the ones that I previously showed should be available on pretty much all of the bases. I don't know if any of these other than Dementor's Kiss are available on mohair, sadly. I think they're all sold out in mohair. I really need to restock the mohair soon. So some colorways that I think would look beautiful as a no frills are rose gold. I think this, along with the Fresh Sheets mohair or even the rose gold mohair, would be absolutely stunning. And then I pulled a colorway that I thought would be beautiful as a two-piece shawl, Hopscotch and Berlin Sunrise. You could even go ahead and add barley to the mix. That one's very pretty. I also love Pickle Juice. This one's similar to barley. It's not tonal at all. There are a lot of flashes of lots of different shades of greens, orange, aquas, yellows, mustards, chartreuse. These two look pretty together, but it also is a really fun color pop to have these three. So this is Pine, Pickle Juice, and Hopscotch. And then another really fun one that I've added to the shop is Fruit Loops, and that one looks pretty with Hopscotch as well. Hopscotch is one, this colorway right here, that I really love to add as a mini when I do sock sets. You guys, the snow. We've lived in Berlin, Germany for such a long time. I know I'm going off on a tangent. And the last time that we had snow was the year that my eldest daughter was born. And that was a little over 7 years ago. And it wasn't a huge snow, but for Berlin, it was a lot. It was a lot of snow. And it was the kind that you had to be really careful when you were walking around. You would slip everywhere, all over the place. I can remember walking with her in the stroller when she was a baby and just holding on so tight to the stroller as I walked. We have such a fantastic sledding hill in our yard that I know that even with the minuscule amount of snow that we've had this winter so far compared to what it normally is, we've had such a fantastic time sledding down the hill and playing outside in the snow, making snowmen. It's been such great packing snow. So I'm holding this. I wanted to say that this is one that I love pairing with socks, because if I show you pretty much any of these colors that I have sitting on the table, Hopscotch just looks so cool with pretty much any color I mean, even if I put it with the tonals, well, these four look really beautiful together in general. But hopscotch is just a really nice one. So I'm really happy that I got to come in and chat with you guys about what I've been working on. I'm very happy to spend the weekend indoors while being able to go outside in our yard and play in the snow and then go ice skating, have fun game nights with neighbors right across the street. How lucky are we? I know we're lucky that we can just cross over the lawn and say hello and hang out a bit. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope that you guys have a great weekend planned ahead, and I will see you all soon. Bye.